Hey everyone, thank you for joining me in the final installment of my What I Learned from Each Character in the Sex and the City series. In today's video, we're going to discuss what I learned from Carrie Bradshaw. But before we dive into the video, I want you to do me a quick favor. Go ahead and hit the like button. After you hit the like button, I want you to hit the subscribe button, and then a bell icon is going to pop up, and I want you to hit that so that you are notified every single time I post a brand new video. This channel is amazing because I talk about any and everything under the sun, whatever pops up into my head, and you in the comment section can leave suggestions for videos that you would like for me to discuss. So go ahead, hit the like button and subscribe, comment if you'd like to, and thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Okay guys, we are going to talk about the final character in Sex and the City, Carrie Bradshaw. The show would not be possible without this amazing, trendy character that I learned so many cool fashion things from. Let's go ahead and get started with what I learned from Carrie Bradshaw. The first thing I learned from Carrie Bradshaw is that you don't have to be perfect. It's okay to be unlucky in love for a bit and to make mistakes. She put herself out there and she dated lots of different people and got to learn different things about men. She got to learn different things about herself, about love and dating, and she didn't always make the best decisions. And I think that instead of looking down on her for that, I think we should commend her, because you can't always do everything perfectly, and the best way to learn is to put yourself out there and make mistakes. I have kissed my fair share of frogs in my lifetime, and I've learned so many valuable lessons that I would not have learned had I not put myself out there and gone on dates and been in some really sucky relationships. So I just want to commend her for showing that you have to be willing to open your heart and put yourself out there. A guy is not going to show up at your front doorstep and say, "Hi, I'm the one." You have to be willing to put yourself out there in order to come across that perfect person for you. And that could possibly mean getting your heart broken, dating some crazy people, but along the way in that journey, if you keep trying, you will eventually find the person that's right for you. The next thing I learned from Carrie Bradshaw is that it is okay to question everything. At the beginning, or at some point in each episode of Sex and the City, she would ask a question. She'd be writing an article, and she would write a question that she would ask that would be the theme of the whole episode. And I don't think that we question things enough. Do we really want children? Are we putting crazy expectations on ourselves? I consider myself a student of life. I'm always growing, I'm always learning, I'm always asking questions. And I feel like so many times as women, we kind of take what's handed to us and we kind of accept things as they're given to us, and we don't ask questions. And I forgot to put my microphone on in this video as well. 3 out of 4. Let's start this again. Big ugly microphone on, ruining my whole outfit, but let's get started again. I love how Carrie Bradshaw was not afraid to ask questions about life and to question the traditions that we put in place and the expectations that we put on ourselves as women. And she was able to freely discuss these topics with her friends and get clarity as far as to how to proceed in her life and in her relationships. I don't think that we do this enough. Why have we been obsessing over getting married since we were children? Why do we have to have children? Why does this have to go this way? Why does that have to go that way? Ask questions. And that might mean making mistakes. That might mean asking the wrong question, if there is such a thing. But she asked questions. She didn't just settle for what we're supposed to be doing as women. She asked the questions to spark conversation, to get clarity on certain issues so that she can make the best decision possible. So asking questions as it pertains to traditions and relationships is something that I definitely learned from Carrie Bradshaw. The next thing that I learned from Carrie Bradshaw is fashion, fashion, fashion. I don't have Carrie Bradshaw's budget. If any of you do, I am so jealous. But Carrie Bradshaw definitely taught me how to not be afraid to go there with fashion, how to dress for my body, how to put outfits together, how to accessorize, and that it's okay to change as far as whatever age you are or season you are in your life. How she dressed in season 6 is not the same as how she dressed in season 1, and it's totally okay to evolve and to grow. And I really love that Carrie Bradshaw saw fashion as an art, because fashion is an art form that I feel like not enough people truly appreciate. Psychologically, wearing a certain color causes people to react to you in a certain way, or wearing a certain pattern, wearing a certain shape, wearing a certain type of fabric falls on your body. And it's been psychologically proven that dressing a certain way causes you to feel more confident, which causes you to be more productive. So fashion does affect us in more ways than we care to believe. And I love how the character invested in fashion. The fashion itself was a character in the whole series on its own. And one thing that I took away from that is, how can I be fashionable on a budget? I know this dress was like, I think it was like $13. This necklace was like $10. Learning how to work fashion into your life according to whatever budget that you are working with. Not everyone can afford a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes. Maybe you can afford some DSW shoes. Maybe all you can do right now is Target shoes. But making whatever you have work for your body, being bold, being confident, trying patterns, trying fabrics, learning about different designers. That's why there is an art museum, and the art museums dedicated to fashion, like the Met Gala, and we see people on the red carpet wearing headpieces and beautiful couture gowns, because it is a way to express yourself. Just like an artist would make something on a canvas, the body is the canvas, and they're doing the same thing. And I love how she showed that fashion is truly an art form. In real life, not everyone ends up with the person that they've always wanted. I know that I've experienced this. Maybe some of you guys experienced this. The guy that I want ends up dating the girl with the personality of a Walmart supercenter. And there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes life is unfair and stuff happens. But in the show, she realized when she went off with Alexander Petrovsky, I mean, there was a plethora of red flags, and that's a whole nother video that I could do. But outside of those red flags, she finally realized that he wasn't the one for her, and she wasn't willing to just settle, despite being in this beautiful country and him being wealthy and well respected and well known. She was still just like, this isn't working for me. And I often wonder how many people get married only because this is what they feel that they're supposed to do. They feel like this is the time, this is the next step. They're running out of time, and they're not willing to sit back and question, am I really doing the right thing right now? How long are you willing to wait to be with the right person? Or are you just settling for who's there right now, the first person that will show you some attention, the first person that's willing to marry you or be in a relationship with you? She showed that it's okay to say no. She showed that it's okay to turn down everything that seemingly looks great on paper, because I've had lots of people say, oh, you should just date this guy or date that guy because he's a nice person. Well, I do want to be with somebody that's nice, but I also want to be with somebody that I'm attracted to. I want to be with somebody that stimulates me mentally and emotionally and sexually once we get to that level. There's so many different things that go on to that. I don't just want to be with someone because they're nice. Like, why would, no. And people telling me that I'm getting older and time's passing me by. That is such a lack mindset. And like I said, I believe that love is out there for me when I'm ready for it, and that it will happen when I'm ready for it, when the right person comes along for me. Things will just happen, but I don't have to force anything. I don't have to settle. And which leads me to my next point. What I also learned from Carrie Bradshaw is that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to think, I want to leave my life behind and travel to Paris, and then decide, you know what, I really want to go back to New York. We do not give ourselves the permission to be indecisive, to be investigative, if that's even a word. I don't know if it is. I just made it up for the sake of this video. We don't give ourselves enough permission to change our mind. There is an author, her name is Danielle Laporte, and she said something to the effect of, you have to be okay with changing your mind. And maybe for one season in your life, you were dead strong about this particular decision and going this direction. And then one day you woke up and you're like, nope, I want to go this way. And that is so crucial, especially if you want to be a successful entrepreneur or businesswoman, or even in the entertainment industry, like me being an actress. You have to be willing to say, you know what, this isn't working. I'm going to try going in a different direction. Or, you know, I realize that, you know, we're invested in this, but I really feel like we should try this way. And it's totally okay to not settle and decide that you want something different and that you want to go in a different direction with your life, with love. If you're in a relationship and you're just like, this isn't working for me, don't just keep going on in it. End it. You know, you might have to break someone's heart. You might have to get your heart broken, but I would much rather you be happy and be able to sleep at night than to go on carrying the burden of the fact that you are settling and you're just accepting something because you're afraid to make the best decision for yourself. The number one thing that I'm going to say I love about Carrie, I'm going to have to say, is she didn't just get married because of her age or because it's what you're supposed to do or because the guy asked. Aiden proposed, and it just didn't feel right to her. And a lot of women would have said yes and would have planned a big happy wedding and would have gone along with that because in their minds they felt that that opportunity was never going to come to them again. I have to say that is one of my favorite things about Carrie Bradshaw, is how she was just so unconventional when it came to marriage. It didn't mean that she didn't want to find love. It didn't mean that she didn't want to be in a relationship. It just meant that she was not going to just marry someone because they're there and because everything about them looks great. And that kind of blends in with a lot of the other points that I've made about her. But I'm like sort of on this low-key mission to get women to stop settling. You do not have to be married by 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You can wait until it feels right, until it is right, with someone that you actually love and with someone that you're actually attracted to. It is not the 1950s or before that where you have to get married off because you live on a farm and your dad can't afford to raise you and feed you and have you in the family anymore. It's a different time, and now we can actually marry because we want to be married. We can actually focus on our careers, and you know, when marriage is supposed to happen or relationship is supposed to happen, then we can go after that. I have heard people say, well, you're going to be alone for the rest of your life. Well, you have to be so confident and so settled within yourself that you would rather risk being alone for the rest of your life than to settle and to be in a relationship where you know you've settled and all of the complications and the ramifications that go along with settling into a situation that you really don't want to be in. And I think it's sad that we sort of scare women into marriage by telling them you're going to be alone forever. Well, if the thought of you being by yourself for however long it takes, if it ever happens for you, if the thought of being by yourself scares you into settling into a relationship that you shouldn't be in, therapy alert, you need to get into therapy and you need to unpack that. If you can't be by yourself, then why do you expect someone else to want to be with you? I mean, I heard someone, she's a famous licensed professional hypnotist and author, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Her name is Melissa Peer. And she said that the things that you would want an ideal mate to say to you, you need to be willing to say those things to yourself. Just like the things you would want in an ideal mate, you need to be able to have those things going on for yourself as well. So if you hate yourself, if you can't stand being by yourself, if you can't stand yourself, then you put yourself in a situation of being with someone who's going to take advantage of you because they can't stand you either. And they're just with you for whatever they can possibly get from you. Be okay with being by yourself. And sometimes it does get lonely. I do see people holding hands and kissing, and I'm like, I can't wait for that to happen for me. But at the same time, I'm not willing to rush it and force it and just settle so that I could say that I have it. Once I have it, I want it to be good. I know that it's not going to be perfect, but I want it to not be something that I've settled for. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed these videos of me diving into the characters. What's another series that I should dissect each character and talk about what I've learned about from each of them? Post that in the comments below. Thank you so much for liking this video. Thank you so much for subscribing to this video and hitting the bell icon to get notifications of when I post videos on here. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.